Hello everyone, this is Anna. Welcome to PhD Jobs and Admission. In this video, we are going to discuss about experimental and exploratory research for your upcoming Mumbai University PhD entrance test. Links for other lectures is in the description box, and this is our third lecture. So as you know, your paper will be divided into two sections, Section A and Section B. Section A is common for all subjects and its weightage is 50%. So for your preparation, our channel has launched the following course on research methodology. In this course, you will get full syllabus notes and 20 full syllabus test series. This test series is more than sufficient for your preparation as it contains 1000 questions. To join this course, contact us on this WhatsApp number and let's begin with the video. These are the 10 types of research. In yesterday's lecture, we solved two types of research, that is fundamental and applied research. In today's lecture, we will focusing on two types of research, that is exploratory and experimental research. Let's begin with the questions. Our first question is, experimental researches are aimed to. So here in this question, we have to find what is the aim of experimental research. So let's see options one by one. Option A, establish association between variables. So here experimental research or experimental method is based on two variables. These are independent variable and dependent variable. Okay, so here to get the relation between variables, how they depend on each other, to find this we'll follow experimental research, and the establishing association between variables is the main aim of experimental research. So here option A is correct. Let's see option B, describe variables. So here experimental research give us the relation between or tell us the relation between the variables or how they depend on each other, not they describes the variable. So here option B is incorrect. Option C, study the application of theory. So students, remember, yes, in yesterday's lecture learn this statement which is given to us in option C. So in fundamental research, whatever theory and principle we made in fundamental theory, we apply this theories and principles in applied research. Okay, so here option C is the main aim of applied research, not experimental research. So option C here is incorrect. And last option, study trend analysis. Okay, so what is study trend analysis? The trend studies gather data from a particular population characterized by a specific variable such as educational level. Again, this is incorrect. Okay, so here option A is the correct answer, establish association between variables. So let's see what is experimental research and what is the aim of experimental research in detail. So experimental research is held, or experimental research is a scientific approach and it uses two sets of variable, that is again independent variable and dependent variable. Okay, again how they depend on each other, we have to find the relation between these two variables. Okay, so main aim of experimental research is to draw cause and effect relationship between the variables. Okay, so here independent variable, let's see example. Smoking causes lung cancer. Smoking causes lung cancer. So here smoking is independent variable and lung cancer is dependent variable. Okay, so smoking causes lung cancer means here we can find, or researcher can find the what is the effect of smoking on lung cancer. Okay, and smoking here independent variable, and in experimental research researcher can manipulate the independent variable, not dependent variable. Okay, researcher can manipulate, change the measurements of independent variables to see the effect on dependent variable. Okay. So here manipulation occurs only on independent variable, not dependent variable. Let's see another example. Horlicks on growth of Horlicks increases or Horlicks improves the growth in children's, and healthy foods improves the health. Okay, so these are the examples in which independent variable shows what is the effect on its dependent variable. Okay, so this is all about experimental research. I hope it's clear to everyone. Let's see next question. The research method which focuses on establishing causal relationship with controls among variables, independent, moderator and dependent, is called. So here in this question, this is a definition. In this question, here this is a definition, and we have to find out from the options which method is related to this definition. Okay, so let's see options one by one. Option A, ex post facto method. What is ex post facto method? So ex post facto method in which group with qualities that already exist are combined on some dependent variable. So here we are comparing. Okay, but here what we have to find, control on variables. So here option A is incorrect. Let's see option B, survey method. Okay, what is survey method? Survey method studies the sampling of individual units from a population for the data collection such as questionnaire data or questionnaire construction. Okay, questionnaire construction method for improving the number of responses to survey. Okay, so remember students, survey method comes under descriptive research. Okay, so here again option B is incorrect. So here the definition is given to us is follow experimental method. Okay, so what is experimental method? Experimental method focuses on establishing causal relationship with control among variables, independent, moderator and dependent, where here our independent variable can researcher can controls on independent variable to show or to see the impact on, to see the effect or to see the impact on dependent variable. Okay, so this is a definition of experimental method. So here option C is the right answer. Let's see what is experimental method or experimental research. So in experimental research, researcher can directly manipulate the independent variable. Okay, so here in experimental research, researcher can manipulate the independent variable to show or to see effect on dependent variable. Okay, let's see example, global warming. Okay, so if global warming is increases, then earth temperature will also increase. Okay, now what we'll do here, global warming is independent variable where earth temperature is dependent variable. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll manipulate the independent variable. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll decrease the global warming. Okay, so when we'll decrease the global warming, the earth temperature will automatically decreases. Okay, so here what is happening, when we decrease the global warming, then earth temperature is decreasing. When we increase the global warming, earth temperature is also increasing. Then here what is happening, when we manipulate, when researcher manipulate the independent variable, then they can show and they can see the effect on dependent variable. Okay, let's see next point. So here researcher utilizes the principle of randomization. So here in this research, in experimental research, researcher can take the samples randomly. Okay, so there is a choice, there is a freedom of taking the sample randomly. Okay, that is known as randomization. Okay, let's see next point. So here in this last point, this is very important point. So here, what is the main aim of experimental research? Experimental research is easier to interpret the relationship between independent variable and dependent variable. As what we did, we manipulate the independent variable to show the effect or to see the effect on dependent variable or to see the impact on dependent variable by cause and effect relationship. Okay, so this is the main aim of experimental research, and this is all about experimental research. Hope you guys understand this research. Okay, let's see another question. Which is the process needed in experimental research? So in this question, we have to find which process needed in experimental research from this option. Okay, so let's see options one by one. Manipulation and replication. Okay, so manipulation and replication, these two processes needed in experimental research, means option A here is correct. Let's see option B, controlling. Controlling is another process needed in experimental research, means option B here is also right answer. Then option C, observation. Observation is a process which is also needed in experimental research, means all this process, all these processes needs in experimental research. That's why here correct option is option D, all the above. Okay, so let's see the processes given in detail. As you all know, what is experimental research? Experimental research is the research in which, or is a research of scientific approach in which the establishing of causal relationship, means cause and effect relationship between two variables, that is independent variable and dependent variable, where we can or researcher can manipulate, control, replicate or observe the independent variable to show the impact on dependent variable, to show the effect on dependent variable. Okay, so let's see what is control, manipulation, replication and observation. So here first process is control in experimental research or experimental method. So control refers to the effort by researcher to remove the influence of any extraneous or confounding variable on the dependent under investigation. That is known as control variable, where we can control the independent variable. Again, we can control on independent variable, or researcher can control on independent variable to show or to see the what is the impact on dependent variable. Next is manipulation. So manipulation describes the process by which researcher purposefully or change alter or influence the independent variable. Okay, the word itself mean manipulation means changes. Okay, so manipulation means researcher can do a changes in independent variable. So in previous question we saw the example global warming, how when we increase the global warming, the effect on earth temperature. What is the effect on earth temperature? Here, when we increase the global warming, earth temperature is also increasing. When we decrease the global warming, earth temperature is again decrease. Okay, so what we did, we manipulate the here independent variable, that is global warming. Next process is replication. Okay, so replication is repetition of an experimental condition so that variability associated with the phenomenon can be estimated. Okay, so in experimental research we can replicate, we can repeat the theory, we can repeat whatever information was present earlier, we can use that and we can do experiment, or researcher can do experiments in experimental research, that is known as replication. Last is observation, and again very important. What is observation? Observation studies are ones where researchers observe the effect of a risk factor, then diagnostical treatment, diagnostical test, that is known as observation. Okay, so experimental research, or in experimental research, these are the four types of process which researcher follows, that is control, manipulation, replication and observation. All these four researcher applies on independent variable to show the effect on dependent variable. Okay, let's see next question. What is next question? In experimental study, so what involves in experimental study? Let's see options. Option A, establish cause and effect. So this is right statement, because experimental study establishes the causal relationship between the variables. Next is randomization in a group selection. This is also correct. Okay, and this is also happen in experimental study or experimental research. Option C, the dependent variable can be manipulated. So this statement is incorrect, because in experimental study or in experimental research, only independent variable can be manipulated, can be replicated, can be controlled, not dependent variable. Okay, means here option C is incorrect. So option A and B here is the right. So correct option is option D, both A and B. Let's see what is randomization, what is cause and effect relationship. Okay, let's see in detail. So as you all know, what is experimental research? It is a scientific approach and it uses the two sets of variable. These are independent variable and dependent variable. Okay, so where we can manipulate independent variable to show the effect on dependent variable. Okay, so let's see the second point. What was the second point? Randomization. So randomization occurs in experimental method. So what is randomization? So randomization refers to a random assignment of participants to the treatment in an experiment, or for instance we can say that randomization is assignment of treatment to the participants randomly. Okay, so here researcher can randomly select sample from a group of population. Here is the example. Okay, so let's see one example. So here let's see a large population. From a large population, researcher can select a randomly people for sampling. For that is known as randomly selection, means sampling. Okay, researcher can randomly select the persons from a large population, that is known as sampling, by randomly. Okay, here the choice of word is used is random, is very important. That is known as randomization, as assignment of treatment to participants randomly. Okay, next, which type of study is loosely structured and designed to expand understanding of a topic and provide insights? Okay, so in this question we have to find which research is loosely structured approach. Okay, so let's see the options. Option A, formal research. What is formal research? So formal research is a type of research in which study conducted using systematic approach. Okay, systematic approach means step by step. Okay, step by step, and here meaning again will follow. Here in this research, researchers follow the structure. Okay, researcher follows the structure in formal research. Okay, and it is scientific method to gather and analyze the data, whereas option B is informal research. What is informal research? There is little bit difference between formal research and informal research. So informal research is a type of research in which study conducted using, again, it is also systematic approach when researchers follows the structure, but it is non-scientific method. It is non-scientific method to gather and analyze the data. The main difference is formal research is scientific and informal research is non-scientific method. Okay, where formal and in both researcher follows the structure. That means here option A and option B is incorrect. Let's see option C, exploratory research. Okay, so what is exploratory research? Exploratory research in which problem is not well defined. Not well defined. That is known as exploratory research. And in exploratory research, study conducted using non-systematic approach. Okay, non-systematic approach means, again, here researchers follow loosely structured approaches. Okay, so here that means here structure is loosely approach. Okay, that means here option C is right, because in exploratory research the problem is not well defined. Then option D is experimental research. So experimental research is, again, all you know in experimental research what researcher uses the data as it is and information as it is. Again, in experimental research is a systematic research where researchers follow the structure, but here only the manipulation occurs or changes occurs in variables we saw in previous questions. Okay, that means here again option D is incorrect. So here correct option is option C, exploratory research. So exploratory research, what is exploratory research? So let's understand exploratory research. Okay, so exploratory research, the word has explore in it. Okay, word as explore. Okay, so here what is the meaning of explore? You sometimes say I want to explore this particular area, means you want to know more about this area, and it also means you have never been to this area or you know very little about this area, so you want to explore it. Okay, so here explore means which is very little known. Okay, which is very little known, that is known as explore. And the exploratory research is the research in which the problem is not well defined. Okay, so exploratory research means the research in which the problem is not well defined and it is conducted to have a better understanding of the existing problem, will not provide conclusive result. Okay, so here this is very important words, that exploratory result is used to investigate a problem which is not well defined or which is not clearly defined. Okay, so next point in exploratory research is researcher develops the hypothesis rather than hypothesis testing. Okay, so here in this research, researcher develops the hypothesis, not the testing of hypothesis. Okay, so this is very important. And now let's see some examples on exploratory research. Okay, so let's see, first example is the role of social networking site. Okay, the role of social networking site as an effective marketing channel. And the second is the way improvement of quality of customer services within hospitality sector. Okay, so here the improvement of quality of customers services within hospitality sectors. Okay, so these are the examples which is not well defined and which is loosely structured approach. This is known as, and this is all about exploratory research. Okay, let's move ahead. All the following are possible goals of an exploratory study except, so here in this question we have to find which is not the goal of an exploratory research. Here word is except. Okay, so your first option is discover future research task. Okay, so here in exploratory study or in exploratory research, researcher uses the present information for the future task, okay, to explore, for exploration or to explore the things. Okay, so that means here option A is related with, or it is a goal of an exploratory research or exploratory study. Option B, expand understanding of a topic. Okay, so exploratory study is helpful or it's expand the knowledge of a, or expand the understanding of a topic, and its main goal is to expand the knowledge or to expand the area of knowledge. Okay, that means here option B is also correct, or it is a goal of an exploratory study. Option C is test hypothesis. Okay, so students remember in previous slide we discussed in exploratory research, researcher develops the hypothesis rather than testing the hypothesis. So testing hypothesis, it is not a goal of an exploratory study or exploratory research. That means here option C is correct because we have to find out which is not a goal of an exploratory research. That means here option A and B is incorrect and option C is correct. Same option D. Option D is develop hypothesis. So in exploratory research, hypothesis development stage occurs. That means here option D is also incorrect because it is a goal of an exploratory research. So test hypothesis is not a goal of an exploratory research. So here option C is correct. Next, causal research is used to, so here what we have to find for cause, when we use causal, or what is the use of causal research. The word itself, and word itself mean causal. Causal means cause and effect. Okay, causal word is made up of two words, that is cause and effect. So here, so causal research is used to test hypotheses about cause and effect relationship. That means here option A is correct. Let's see option B. Gather preliminary information that will help define problems. Okay. So here where we use and where we gather a prior information. So prior information, we use this statement or we follow this statement in exploratory research. Okay, we follow this in exploratory research. So what happens in exploratory research? Researcher gather the preliminary information and define the problem. Okay, that means here option B is incorrect and option C, uncover information at the outset in an unstructured way. So here students, what is given to us? The word is unstructured. Here the keyword is unstructured. That means in exploratory research follows loosely structured approach. Okay, that means exploratory research follows unstructured way. It is not a systematic approach. That means here option C is also incorrect. And option C is related to again exploratory research. Okay. So here correct option is option A, test hypothesis about cause and effect relationship. Next, All of the following are part of an exploratory phase search strategy except. So options are interview with an employer. Okay, so here again we have to find out which is not a part of exploratory research or exploratory phase search. So here option A is interview with an employer. Okay, so interview with an employer, it is a part of an exploratory research. Okay, next is expert interviews. So again expert interviews, it is also a part of exploratory research where through the expert interviews the uh, information will gather or the information or the knowledge will expand. Okay, that means here option B is also correct. Option C, interviewers with those involved the problem. Okay, so here what happens, the researcher interviews with those involved and again they follow the hypothesis. That means they define the problem. Okay, because they define the problems. That means here option C is also follow the part of exploratory phase search. So here in this question we have to follow or we have to find which is not an exploratory phase search. That means here option A, B and C is a part of an exploratory phase search. So here option A, B, C is incorrect, are the incorrect options. So here correct option is option D, because in exploratory research we cannot or researcher cannot perform an experiment. In experimental research, researcher perform experiments. Okay, or experimental research is a scientific method of research, whereas exploratory research is a non-scientific way of research. That means here option D is correct and experiment is not a part of an exploratory phase. So students, these are some important MCQs. I hope you like this lecture. So watch this lecture till the end. Thank you for watching this video. See you tomorrow with another video.